Good deal. I'm going to see if I can do the same thing.
Yeah. On the TikTok live, it says you recommend it to a lot of other people.
Okay, we are live now, and I appreciate everybody bearing with us just a moment. We're doing two things at once. We're going live here on Facebook and YouTube, and I just mentioned all of that on TikTok. They'll probably ban us. Who cares? You know, what's new? So let me see if this can be shared. All right. I'm going to go down the line and invite a bunch of people. What's so funny is I'm hoping I'm sending them invitations to just to jump in the chat, not to take over as guests. That'd be hilarious. Have 20 people at once. But anywho, guys, welcome to Speak Life Podcast. I've got a good friend of mine, Rachel Cardenas. She is coming fresh from Dallas, Texas, to which she's over a podcast and over a magazine over there, What's Up Dallas. And we've been talking back and forth about her being on here for a while, and I'm so excited. She had me on her podcast back in, I think it was last July, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It really
Okay.
was, yeah.
Yeah, we were down in Florida at the time, so you had you had the beach in the background, and like this giant swell of a storm came through. Towards the end of that, she thought I was going to get blown away. She was like, "Okay, I don't want the karma of your death on my conscience, so let's go ahead and end this towards the end, quicker." She didn't want to see me get swapped off into the ocean, but. Everybody who's tuning in, thank you so much for joining in to Speak Life Podcast. As I said, Rachel Cardenas, she's going to tell her story. And I'm excited about this because I follow a lot of her lives. I listen to her, and she really gets in deep into the depth of the I almost want to say the psychotic part of relationships because it can seem a little psychotic sometimes. But yeah, the inner psyche of relationships and, kind of like why people interact the way that they do and all of that. But without any further ado, Rachel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, goodness. Well, Rachel has multiple layers. So I don't just stick to just one thing. I know that God has created me for so much more than what I thought I was capable of doing. So first and foremost, Rachel is the child of God.
Come on.
I am very proud of that because I know that God could not have kept me from all the stuff that happened in my life unless He was with me the whole time. Um, so I'm very proud to say that. Second of all, I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother.
You're a grandmother.
I am.
You are not old enough to be a grandma. So there's knitting sweaters and all that fun stuff. So
I don't do the knitting part,
you
but
don't do the knitting
you know,
part. Okay.
I don't. But they're super super cute, and I love them. And it's just a blessing to have grandkids, even at a young age as well. Um,
And how
but
old are you, Rachel?
I am 43.
43. Okay. I
Mhm.
thought you were a lot younger than me. So
And also a VP of an organization called Inspire Her Foundation, which helps women overcome domestic violence and find resources to help them reestablish after leaving a relationship like that. And just teaching them that there's a community of women that have been through it and we've all survived it. So
yeah.
we have a therapist that's a part of our group board too. And we also work with the Self Defense Academy. So that's another layer of Rachel. And then also, Rachel is a domestic violence survivor. I am a trauma recovery survivor. Um,
Mm.
I am hoping, and this is the direction I think God is kind of taking me, is to being a trauma recovery coach
Oh wow.
officially. I just spoke with my husband about it. It's just like for all of you that are actually, you know, uh, on this live, you're getting the first glimpse of this conversation. I talked to my husband about it, and he goes, "That's amazing." He goes, "I saw the need at our church. Our church does not have a trauma recovery coach. They have a men's recovery coach, they have a men's recovery program, but they do not have trauma recovery, which is one of the things that I think really needs to be talked about a whole lot more."
So
So,
tell me a little bit about this situation and This is a show I think that you've followed me enough, Rachel, that you know that I don't believe in holding back any punches. So always feel free just to share what you're comfortable with. But you say that you're, a survivor of domestic violence. What happened there? What did that look like?
Since I'm speaking from scars instead of open wounds, I'm very comfortable about talking about it now. My first husband was very, very violent person, to a point where he was basically trying to control me through fear and oppression. I would like to say oppression. I
Yes.
was being oppressed in my first marriage. He was very verbally abusive. He was physically abusive. He was to a point where if I can't have you, I'm going to kill you kind of
Wow.
person. So,
Where did y'all meet at, Rachel?
I met him when I was young. I was 15 when I met him. I
Okay.
was 16 when I got married to him.
Yeah.
Um, and then I became a mom at the age of 17. And he was not at all, for all the viewers out there, people who are like that tend to not be abusive until they have you under their hold.
Wow.
They
Were there
tend
any
to
were there any red flags or anything?
a lot of red flags that I didn't notice until I started doing my trauma recovery therapy is that I did not know what love bombing was. I did not know that love bombing was a narcissistic tactic that people use to gain control of people. I did not know that that was one of the things that they would use to get you attached to them and
Mm.
then, slowly dissipate their affection over time.
So almost
I
like you feel like a Disney princess with all, it's almost like the story perfect scenario, and then once they flip the switch, they just flip it, and it's wow, you
Yeah,
married a beast. So
he was very much a beast. He was also a fearful avoidant, which is something that I've also learning through my trauma therapy, where he would like to have control of the situation, but anytime I asked him to man up on his side of being a husband, he would leave. He would go gravitate to surface level women, that unknowing to me, because I would be the
yeah.
one that would be stuck at home, you know, out of fear. He was just a terrible person. But
What did this? If do you feel comfortable going into the details of what this abuse looks like, so that way that women who's going through the same thing, they're dealing with Stockholm syndrome. They're like, well, maybe that's not abuse. Maybe that's just because what's so crazy is I've had people on here who've had to talk to other people and give details just to realize, wow, this ain't normal.
oh, it was like absolutely 100% not normal. What I had experienced is something that a lot of women don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about spousal rape. Okay. For all the viewers out there, my husband, he did that for 3 years of our marriage. Whether I wanted him there or not, he took advantage of me no matter what I said. And that's why, he was just a control person. He wanted to control me. The fear controlled me at that point. I was very young. No one taught me anything about that. Nobody taught me that that was not a normal marriage.
Yeah.
I did come from an upbringing that, women are supposed to be submissive to their husbands. I was brought up with that kind of, thinking, that kind of like, well, this is my husband. I just want to be the best wife to him possible, but I did not know that all the signs were there and that God was really not wanting me to be in that relationship. Like it was
Yeah.
really harming me being there.
Yes. Phew.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big catch-22 that a lot of women do find themselves in is that, they're reading the part of the Bible of, women be submissive to your husbands, but also the man's supposed to love the wife just like Christ loved the church. And Christ laid his life down for the church, which
Mhm.
means, yes, submit to your husband, but also men, put your wife ahead of you. I'm sorry, but we're supposed to be protectors, and basically, when it comes to protection, you can throw us away if you need to. And what I mean by that is, if a bullet's coming your direction, it's your job as a man to step in front of you, and then at your household, you were dealing with the complete opposite. Not only was he not protecting you, but he was the aggressor, and causing you to be victimized. So
Yeah. So I just say whenever I say that God brought me out of that relationship, I prayed for God to give me a way out. Because I didn't see any way out. I didn't feel like I had any kind of option. Like everything I tried to I tried to do for myself, I kept finding a blockade. Like he always would find out what I was about to do and he would, tear it up. Like
Shh.
um he would use that fear. He'd be like, "You're never going to leave me. If you leave me, I'm going to
Yeah.
kill you." That kind
Yeah.
of person.
Yeah.
Um, and he was basically, very narcissistic, very abusive, very controlling. And I pray for God. I say, God, please just give me one way out, just one way out. Like
Yes.
if you can hear me, and at this time I was like 19. So if you can hear me, like please give me a way out of this marriage. And lo and behold, he got arrested. He got put in prison for 4 months. And during those 4 months while he was in prison, I found a lawyer who worked really fast.
Yeah.
And that lawyer had me divorced within a month of him being in
Oh
prison.
man. So
And
what did he go away for?
he got away for assaulting a family member.
Oh my. Okay.
Uh-huh, his stepdad. And he got in there because the stepdad was basically telling him he couldn't talk to people like he was, and basically self-defense, and
Yeah.
he assaulted him. And that was my cue. He
Yeah,
was away.
definitely.
I was like, I'm out. God, I know this is my time. Like,
Deuces.
thanks, God. Um, but it was just
Oh.
kind of one of those things where that was my cue. That was my way to leave.
Yeah.
I was actually already pregnant with my third baby
Oh
at
my
this
gosh.
time when he got put.
Was he
Mhm.
trying to weigh you down with a family, like trying to give you a bunch of kids so that way that you would feel more like not going away, or like leaving, or was that a part of it or no?
No, he didn't even care about that part. I mean,
Huh.
honestly, he didn't really care. It was really just a control thing. He didn't really care whether I was his wife or not, because if I was his wife, he would have loved me, and he didn't. He didn't look at me like a wife. He looked at me like a trophy,
But
like
but but
somebody
but I
that
meant
he
just
wanted.
as but I just meant in the sense as like trying to tie you down so that way that you couldn't leave. Period. Though.
Oh no, he
Okay.
he didn't he didn't really. It was more like he just tried to convince me through control
Okay.
over mind
Okay.
control.
So,
Mhm.
so when you decide to pull the gun, and also bravo to you for still being brave enough to even do that. That
Mhm.
takes a woman with some what's the best way to put this? I mean, it's just sure determination, because when you're looking at the fact that he's in prison, you're still looking at the fact that he's going to come out at some point, and that
Mhm.
fear that he's instilled in you. So, what was going through your head? Because he's not going to be there forever.
Just run, seek help, find somebody that's actually going to help you.
Were
Um,
were you able to get a restraint order?
I got a protective order. But I would like to tell you that after he got out of prison, he did come look for me. He literally went to every family member that I loved that would help me, and at one point even stood outside my mom's house, and stood in front of my car, uh,
What a weirdo.
to keep me from going to work.
Yeah.
My mom was watching my daughter at that time, and I was staying with my mom after this whole recovery and stuff, and my son too. And yeah, he stalked me for 12 years
You needed
after
a shovel and a yard dart. Just say you needed a shovel and a yard dart. Just pick a place.
that. Yeah, it was one of those things where, he tried to still have that control factor over me, but I basically told him, I said, you don't have control over me anymore. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of anything. That mentality that you thought you
Yeah.
had over me is no longer there. Yes, we have kids. But my
And,
kids are with me. So
and you said it was 12 years that he was still stalking you after this?
yes.
Get alive. I mean, very psychotic. So, you're obviously married now, okay?
Mhm.
And I'm sure you're going to get a chance to tell the audience yourself, but I'm going to go ahead and say that you're married to a very good man. I've heard the stories of how he supports you now, and honestly, like there's been times where you just looked at him and you're like, why are you so good? And the person that you are. But in order to get to that man, and I want to say that when you've been through a lot, we serve a God of restoration. He is a God of restoration. God will restore us. God will be as good to us as we allow him to be. But that does not change the fact that I don't know where you met your current husband now, but I know that there had to be so many firewalls that he had to get through in order to signify to you that, hey, you know what? I'm not your last husband. What did that look like?
Oh my gosh, he's completely opposite of
Opposite of
everybody,
what? Opposite of,
opposite of everyone I've ever known.
okay.
So between my first marriage and then my husband now, I had relationships that I did not know were actually toxic. Like I just being someone who has not really been accepted by a lot of people in my life, I just wanted to be accepted.
Yeah.
So for all those ladies out there, I know there's a lot of ladies listening to this right now, but you know, we can be really guilty of just trying to chase love. Okay? I did not
Yes.
know that chasing love, uh you know, you don't have to chase love.
Right.
I thought I had to chase love. I thought I had to go look for somebody who valued me. You know, it caused me to be looking for the wrong things. So my heart got broke quite a few times after that
When you
first
say
marriage.
looking for the wrong things, what were the wrong things? Because
Well,
from my mind, you're just looking for acceptance. You're looking for love, which seems, you know, on the surface level like a very healthy thing to look for. So what were you looking for?
well, that's a good question. For people who have been through trauma, we chase chaos. We think that love equals chaos. We think that love equals, um, you know, not the unexpected. Like, you know, there's a certain kind of dopamine level that we would be chasing the infatuation. We think it's love when
Yeah.
somebody becomes infatuated, when we don't really know what love is if we never felt it, you know, especially if you're a trauma survivor. I did not know what love really was. I
Yeah.
did not know. I had a very dismissive father. I have a very anxious mother. I love my mother to death. I love her so much. Man, she's the best. You know, but my dad didn't teach me what a man was supposed to love like. My dad didn't show me love. He never told me he loved me. He's never showed me what a real man was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So for me, I never knew what that was like. I never saw my dad really love my mom like he should have.
Yeah.
I never had that vision of what a man was. And then, you know, the first two people in my life didn't show me love at all. So
Yeah.
my first love of my life for every girl is their dad. If your dad doesn't show you real love, you're not going to have that person. And then the
Right.
husband who swore to protect you in the beginning doesn't show you love, then you don't know really what love is.
Yeah.
So um, I had this conversation with my husband, who I'm with now. We've been together for going on 11 years. I told him, I said, you're safe. Like you're
Mm.
different. Like
Yeah.
you are here in all my mess that I have. I presented to you. My kids also being
Where did y'all even meet at?
funny story. We met at the gym. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was kind of like I really liked him from the first time I saw him. He just
Yeah.
had this glow and this smile and this look about him that was genuine.
Okay.
Um, but I did not want to chase a relationship at that time.
Did he pick up on you or did you pick up on him? I mean, like was your pickup line like, "Hey, nice biceps." You know, so what did that look like? Oh, your face is
I
turning
did
red.
I did think that he was a very handsome person from the very get-go. I just was in the mindset. I had already spent 3 years of working on myself, of, you know, learning to love myself again. And I
That's good.
told myself I didn't want to have a relationship again unless God sent me someone.
Yeah.
And at this time, my pastor, right before that, he told us to write a list
Yeah.
of what we really wanted in our godly husband.
Mm-hmm.
And if God was going to send that person, we should be, you know, matching it up to our list. So
Dear
I made it.
Lord, tall, dark, handsome, money. Go ahead.
It was a very specific list.
Yeah.
I said,
What was on it?
the very first thing that I put on there was I told God that if he was going to send me someone, it had to be someone that was really going to go to church
Good.
and actually like it.
Mhm.
The second
I
thing
like how you
was
added that second part. Enjoy being
I
there.
really like yeah. And then the
Uh,
second thing I said was that God, if he's from you, he's going to love you first. And then he's gonna love me, and then he will love the children. Because for
mm,
me, I had relationships before that where they did not accept my children. They wanted me, but they didn't want my children. So
wow. Well, that's
um,
kind of a package deal there. So,
it is, and that's why they're not in the picture. So
yeah.
um, so I said that has to be non-negotiable. So this is the second thing, non-negotiable. The third thing was that he had to be unpersuaded by drugs, alcohol, partying, women, going to the clubs. And I wanted him to be a hardworking man, which also means sacrifice family time, but you know that he's really taking care of the family.
Sure.
So those things were on my checklist, and I was like, God, I know if this is a person you're going to send to me, this is the things they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And um, my husband checked off everything on that list before I
Okay.
married him.
Yeah.
Um,
So
actually,
let's enter this Saki now. He goes into a relationship with you, falls
hmm
in love with you, you fall in love with him,
hmm
but you're dealing still. There was a long time of healing here, so you
hmm
took time to work on yourself.
yeah.
But there still things that y'all had to work through from your past relationship of being constantly on your guard, being abused, and I'm sorry, but like your sex life went from being forced to
hmm
something that's supposed to be more organic because you're with an actual human being who cares about you. I
hmm
mean, so did that take all of this? Did it take some time to work through?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the first thing he noticed was my reaction to a tone of voice. Um, and he was kind of like, "Hey, what's that about?" Because you when you're used to someone like you're cooking them dinner, right?
Yes.
And you it's your gift. It's something you're giving to your partner, and you just want to do something special for them. But I got used to being criticized for the presentation of the plate, or the certain tone of voice, or maybe the clothes were wrinkled or something, and I got
Yeah.
used to that type of tone of voice in there. So my husband, unknowing at this time, it was very early in our marriage, he saw me kind of tear up a little bit or react because his certain tone of
Mm,
voice would trigger something in my brain.
yeah.
He's like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" Like, and I was like, I don't know. I'm just like, I had a little bit of a panic attack, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Talk to me about it. Tell me what happened so I can fix it so I don't do it again." Like, he was very intuitive to that.
Yeah.
And then
Insensitive.
also, he was perceiving it, he was understanding it. He's like, he never experienced trauma, my
Yeah.
husband. So at the first part, I didn't expect him to understand what I went through, but the fact
Yeah.
that he actually took time to listen and he took time to make sure he didn't do it again
Yeah.
because he didn't want to upset me really went a long way with me. So
What
that
kind
was
of
the first.
what kind of household did he grow up in? For him to be so receptive and understanding of your situation, because I mean, obviously he cared about you, and a lot of people care about their spouse, but them being able and capable of taking the routes and the actions that need to be taken in order for them to meet, for y'all to meet that middle ground. I mean,
Mhm.
he must have. I feel like he must have had some good examples growing up or something.
He has his parents are still together. Like his mom and dad, they were very young when they got married, but their love for each other is impeccable. Like she's very submissive to her husband. He's a very doting father.
Yeah.
So all of his children, all of his grandkids, they very much matter to him. So my
Yeah.
husband's seeing that as that is his dad. He very much loves his dad. He wants to be that doting type of father, that doting type of grandfather, just, loving family.
Yeah.
And he sees that his mother also loves his father. So he was seeing that and he's kind of mirroring it. But my husband's like, I didn't grow up in a perfect family. We've had our ups and downs, but I love you more better because of what Jesus did for me.
Wow.
So I want to be the man that Jesus has called me to be, not
Yeah.
because of anybody in this world. And he will tell you that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So where we're at now, after getting through all of this process, you finally got to a point where you're now working on not just being healed. I feel like that healing is a continual process. I feel like even you get to a certain point, there's still some things that can be worked on if we're open with ourselves, just out of just being natural, because there's so many hidden hurts there that we don't even realize, because our hearts are chambers, our minds are chambers. There's things hidden, in the dark that we ended up kind of avoiding and neglecting to look at. But nonetheless, you are in a position now. We're helping other people with the same situation. You're opening up different platforms, in different venues, where avenues where people can be healed, where people can be heard, where they can express themselves. What does that look like now?
It now looks like I've turned my pain into purpose,
Okay.
honestly. Even my daughters who are moms now, and also wives, they tell me that what I went through and the way that I'm shining towards them now, like teaching them that they don't have to live in the trauma because they too had their own trauma from the same person but different.
Jeez. Yeah.
Um, they tell me that what I'm saying matters. And the fact that I'm trying to help other women out there understand they don't have to go through that. They don't have to live in that mindset anymore. Trauma trauma addiction is actually an addiction. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. You can be addicted to chaos. You can be addicted to, uncertainty. You can be
Yeah.
addicted to chasing dopamine. It's an
Yes.
addiction. But when you realize that you
Can we
can start.
explain? Can you explain that chemistry explanation? Because dopamine is something that you receive from usually you would think of something that's good. So
Mhm,
how is it that someone who is addicted to chaos, and I understand there's a lot of people that their upbringing was very chaotic, and it's almost like
mhm,
when things seem too perfect, they don't realize they're doing it, but they end up sabotaging their own situation to make it chaotic. So are you
mhm.
telling me that somehow they receive a dopamine dump through that somehow?
Not through that, but through surface level connections. So, say
Okay.
for instance, like, I'll just take me and my husband for example. Like, say if I was, my attachment style. There's the many different attachment styles out there. So you can be an avoidant, a fearful avoidant, anxious attached, and a secure. Those are the four of them that they have. Um, a person who has an avoidant type personality, which has childhood wounds of their emotions being suppressed over time. Like as a child, they learned that their emotions were not valid. Their emotions were not to be
Yeah.
talked about. Anytime they went to someone that they cared about, a family member or something, the family member's like, "Oh, we don't talk about our feelings. I don't care how you feel right now. You just got to suck it up, be a man about it." That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the people that tend to be more avoidant in their adult years, and avoidance chase dopamine.
Mm.
Avoidance chase very surface level stuff because it requires no vulnerability and no commitment when you're
Yeah.
getting to know someone. It's kind of like the dating stage of a
Yes.
relationship.
Yeah.
So,
There's always a
um,
way out.
yeah, there's always a way out. It's always exciting. It's new. Like
Hmm.
you got that rush. You're getting to know someone. You're feeling validated because somebody doesn't know your wounds.
Right.
So
Right.
that dopamine will eventually wear off when a person starts to get to know you better.
Yeah.
Um, But you as an avoidant, you don't have the bonding chemical to make that relationship last. You don't
Yeah.
have oxytocin, which is responsible for bonding with the other
You're just kind
human.
of here for the here and now. Don't, not
Mhm.
so worried about the responsibility. Let's just get the best out of this that I can. That's for me. And
Mhm.
I mean, is it safe to say you're basically saying screw the other person? I'm just here for what I can get out of it.
It's chasing validation.
Okay.
And then when somebody calls you out on it, like you don't want to deal with it. So you're either going to ghost them, stonewall them, you're going to cut all communications, and then go seek a new person who
Jeez. Or a
doesn't,
victim.
yeah.
Mhm.
Basically, they call it a new supply, but it's not a supply. It's a new relationship because now you don't have the pressure of the old relationship and you're starting a new one, and that new person doesn't know anything about you. So kind of like restarting the whole cycle over again. And unfortunately, for a lot of avoidants, they don't know that they have that same cycle going on
Well,
until
they're
somebody
ignoring
calls
the
them out.
patterns. They're
Mhm.
literally ignoring the patterns, and there's a touch of got to be a touch of narcissism in there because the problem is everybody else. It's not me. Because if they came to the conclusion that okay, it's me, then it would bring about with it. Oh, there's something that needs to be worked on, but it's not being
Mhm.
worked on because they're not coming to that realization. So
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Avoidance can be narcissist, but anyone can be a narcissist,
mhm.
honestly. Fearful avoidance, on the other hand, they have childhood trauma that stems from the same person that they love has also been their source of pain. So,
Mm,
like, say for instance, you have a caregiver, a parent, the only one that's there for you. You love them because that's your parent,
yeah,
but they also have been the one to torment you mentally or physically.
yeah,
So they want love, but they're afraid of getting hurt. So they're kind of like avoidant, but they're also fearful to commit to someone. So they also chase dopamine, but when the relationship gets real, they do have the feelings. They want to bond, but
yeah,
they're scared to bond, which
yes,
means it's like a push pull. It's like I want you there, but I want you there at my comfort level. I don't
yeah,
want you to leave, but I kind of want you to give me my space. So they also chase dopamine, but they also feel the commitment. But sometimes the commitment is scary. So
yes,
mhm. And
mhm,
then I am an anxious attachment healing, thank God. Because I was not chasing dopamine. I was the one who wanted to be loved, so I was being love bombed a lot.
yeah,
And until you understand the term love bombing, it's basically someone telling you, "Oh, I've never felt like this before. I can see
yeah,
a future with you. I can see that we should go on trips together. I feel like
yeah,
you're a really wonderful person."
yeah.
I didn't know what love bombing was until I started
Mm.
healing. Yeah, my husband now, he didn't do that. He did not love bomb me at all.
I believe that a lot of women do pick up on that from guys because I believe there's a lot of women that as soon as they start seeing that, and possibly, guys also to girls too, that they take a step back. They're like, oh, okay, calm down, psycho, and because it's a little bit of a red flag. And a lot of people, there are people who have learned that easy come, easy go. If it's going slower, it seems more natural, and I believe that's possibly some people with discernment, kind of approach it that way.
But if you don't know the discernment, like you've only had trauma in your life, you're not going to see it until somebody tells you. So
Mm,
that's why I'm here to tell people that trauma recovery is possible. These signs are not normal. Like
yeah,
future faking, someone saying I can see a future with you and then they
yeah,
get what they want and then they leave is
yeah.
behavior. And I didn't know about that either. So now I know. Now I want to tell people. Now I want to educate women so they can protect themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How do you ever? I mean, all right. So, how do we deal with the guys that's dealing with this as well? Because I mean, you're a woman. It's easier for you to connect with the women, but like, I believe it's fair to say that there's both genders dealing with this. So, how is there a way that in your ministry that you're able to help the guys that have been kind of down that road, just in a different way?
I think it still goes both ways for men and women because there are some young men out there who can just be so elated by a woman. they're attracted to her prettiness. She's
Mhm.
gorgeous. She's got a cute personality. But I think it boils down with the men need to understand that that type of behavior is not acceptable. Even if a woman does it, it's not acceptable. She's really just trying to get something out of you real fast. That's
Yeah.
really what that's about. And chasing validation. She's probably an
Mm.
avoidant too, because avoidant
Yeah.
women out there, they do that as well. They will future fake. They will love bomb you. They will take whatever they can to get what they want from you, and that's just narcissistic behavior. Either way,
Mm.
male or female, it's not cool.
So how has you being a child of God, because you're a child of God before you're a wife, before you're a mother and everything, because I mean you've talked about having your priorities in order. How has that affected your ministry with you handling this? With all of this touchy stuff, that because the things that we're talking about here, this is some very touchy stuff that a lot
Mm.
of people are not always willing to discuss. But when they open up, man, a lot of times it's like the dam just broke and here it is. How does God work into your ministry with ministering to these people?
Well, I think God has given me this ministry because it isn't something that a lot of people talk about. And unless you have gone through it and healed from it, you don't know what to say to people. Um, I know that other people's toxic behavior is not a reflection of me. So the
Yeah.
first thing that I had to do and I had to learn was that their behavior is not because of me. It's because of their fears, their selfishness, their desires for what they want. They're chasing something, they have trauma that's undealt with. So, not taking it personal,
Hmm.
really.
Yeah.
Um, God has called me to also understand that my pain has a purpose. Like there's some lady out there that's watching who's like, I've been in your shoes, but I don't know a way out. So I need this is refreshing to me. So I know
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to be speaking about it.
Mm.
Definitely. I'm healing, but I'm
Yeah.
healing because God has restored me. I'm healing because I asked God to give me this undeniable sense of peace in my life and help me understand why I went through what I did. And he restored my peace. Like I would probably be crying at this moment if I wasn't restored in my right mind.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not because God has healed me mentally. For
Yeah.
real, for real.
With your husband, is he does he have any hands on with this part of your ministry? Or is he just in your corner?
He's in my corner for sure. My husband, he kind of works with the men's ministry at our church. He helps men who are recovering from alcohol addiction and drug addiction, and helps them when they disciple those type of men. So our church is basically founded first and foremost. It used to be a men's recovery center, but now
Ah,
it's has its own church
wow.
because the men who were attending the recovery center would tend to go back home to their home churches with their families,
Yeah.
and then people would reject them in the church or look at them
Shh.
different because of their background,
That's
where they
messed up.
came from. It is messed up, but our pastor, he's also been through that same journey. So he said, let's create a church where we can accept everybody for who they
Yeah.
are, no matter where they came from. And so we've been at
And
that church now.
one thing I like about and not to interrupt, but one thing I like about that is that they're surrounded by people who have got similar backgrounds, and they don't have to feel like a reject. No one should feel like a reject at church anyway. And I hate that. The fact that you mentioned that was just a reminder that I'm sorry, but the church has failed people. It has failed its mission. If those people are not your mission, then what is? Quit putting on
Mhm.
your dress clothes and looking like you're spick and span, so that way you can impress each other. Go to the highways and the byways like Jesus did. Like I said on a podcast the other day, a lot of times Jesus smells like Marlboro cigarettes and Jack Daniels. When you've done it to the least of these, you've done it unto God. But you're not willing to accept these people, so I'm sorry, you're rejecting Christ at the same time. And I'm sorry I'm following this tangent, but it's very important. There's going to be a lot
Mhm.
of people that have rejected these people who are going to be rejected by Christ, and he's going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you."
Right.
You did not show the fruits. You ain't got the proper fruit. What tree are you? What tree are you? Well, you'll know the tree by the fruit that you see. And if you're helping these people who's been through these things, you're doing the work of Christ.
Absolutely. And that's why I love our church too, because they go out to the streets, they go out to the trenches, they go out and they reach the people, the homeless folks. The
What
street
church is it?
is called the Well Community Church in
Okay.
DFW. It's in Mesquite, Texas. We just transferred to a bigger location.
Okay.
But that just means we can reach more people now. So
Good deal. Good deal. You're just a
yeah.
little excited.
I love our church. I love our church. Almost every person who's a pastor at that church has gone through the recovery center and is helping preach the gospel to people just like them. And I know that my purpose is to teach to people that God has restored me through all the trauma I've been through, and I can have a renewed mind. And so can they, which is very
Yeah.
important.
What does the next few years look like? What has God placed anything in your heart as far as a direction you're supposed to be going? And just, what do you see coming?
I strongly am gravitating to being a trauma recovery coach full
Yeah.
time. I really feel like that is something our church does not have. It's something that maybe if we had it in the church, maybe more people would understand, like, this woman has been where I'm at and she's trying to help people. Let me go talk to her. She's going to understand. Because my husband told me that I have a gift of people just literally just opening up to me. Like, I
Mm,
give them a sense of peace, a safe place. I give them
wow.
an that kind of energy that is calming. I'm not going to judge you, like, and I was like, really? Like, I emit that type of energy? He's like, yeah. Because
Well,
kids come up to me,
yeah.
animals, older ladies, people
I like how
at
you
the
just
store.
randomly threw animals in there. Animals too.
Yeah, they do. I'm the animal whisperer. Ask my son. He will tell you the
Oh
same
my
thing.
gosh. My wife's gonna be jealous of your title. She's gonna be like, no, there's only room for one. So my wife, like if I die, she's gonna transform our house into an animal sanctuary. There's gonna be animals everywhere. We've fostered possums. We were out there in the woods one time, deep in the woods, Rachel, and I mean way deep in the woods. It was just us. And she had this battery operated DVD player. We were playing Nacho Libre. And apparently it brought the attention of this fat raccoon. She's like, babe, there's a raccoon. And it was huge. I said, give me that bag of chips. And like I started feeding it chips like one at a time. And I finally earned its trust. By 2 o'clock in the morning, that thing was in my lap. I was petting it on the head and feeding it barbecue chips, man. I mean, like, she's got the video somewhere. That was like a highlight of my life. So
I love animals. I really do. If I had a nonprofit, I would definitely open one for animals, but I know it would consume all of my time for
I'm
sure.
sure it would. I'm sure it would. Well, we'll come to a close because you said you had a couple things you had to get done. But if somebody's listening to this, Rachel,
Mhm.
and they're in an abusive situation, they're in domestic violence situation, what's your advice to them?
Simple. God didn't create you to be hurt by people, especially by your spouse. He didn't create you to be abused or oppressed. He didn't create you to be a target for someone's anger. So, for all the people that are out there listening, if you are in a relationship like that, pray for God to give you a way out, and He will. Don't ignore it. Just do it because you're not meant to be with that type of relationship. God has created us to be loved by our spouses. He created for us to be loving God and trusting God. And at this point, that's what I had to do at this point to get out. And I know that y'all can do it too. So stay
Mm.
focused on Him, pray about it. He will still give you a way out for sure.
Well, Rachel, if they've heard this, heard your testimony, and they heard this episode, and they're wanting to give their heart to God, you mind walking them through that and pray with them?
Absolutely. It's plain and simple. Understand that God loves you so much that He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die for you. Christ rose again for you. And really, it's plain and simple. Believe in Jesus Christ that He rose again and accept Him as your Lord and Savior, and He will save you.
That's
And
right.
that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do a prayer with them if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm asking a lot of you, but I think this will be good.
Absolutely. Lord God, for those listening, if this message has reached someone, to give them a renewing of their mind, Lord, please, please, please let them understand that you, God alone, know exactly what they need. Okay, God, I pray for all the listeners out there that this testimony has reached somebody out there, giving them a newfound hope that what they are doing really, really does matter, and they do need to trust you in the process. Lord, thank you for your son, Jesus Christ, who died for each and every one of us, even if we don't know it yet. God, now they're hearing the message right now. So somebody's hearing it and understanding they do need to accept your son, Jesus Christ, as their Lord and Savior, and he will save them. He will come into their life and bless it more abundantly. Lord, I just want to thank you for everyone who's participated, everyone who's listened, everybody who's going to share this. God, because if it's only for one person to reach, let that person be reached, Lord. The purpose is met. And I just want to let you know, Lord, that I'm grateful for you, grateful for Shane. I'm grateful for his podcast and for all the viewers out there. Lord, I love you and thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, sis, it's been a great pleasure having you on here. Thank you so much for jumping on, and I look forward to hearing here in the future what God continues doing through you and your awesome husband, what God does through your church, and I believe God's using y'all in these end times. You could have been born in any generation, but God's chosen you for this generation right before God comes back to bring in souls for the kingdom of God, and stick along with me as after I end up going off live. I want to chat with you for a moment, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Speak Life Podcast. Jump on, and where can people follow your ministry, Rachel?
Oh gosh. My first and foremost, my main podcast is What's Up Dallas podcast. I'm all over YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those things are on there. I do have the magazine page and a podcast page just because there's readers of all different types. And then I have Little Moments with Raejay. Say you're a woman and you heard this, podcast, and you would like to follow me about more of the wisdom that God has bestowed upon me about trauma healing. Maybe you need to learn some of the signs. I can definitely teach you through that. Little Moments with Raejay on YouTube and also on TikTok.
Good deal. Well, there you have it, guys. Give her a follow. You won't be disappointed.